Hi everyone, my name is Hillary and I'm going to be talking to you today about leadership development. What is leadership? Leadership comes in all different shapes and sizes. You can be young, old, small, big, boss, or employee, it doesn't matter. Powerful leaders come from those willing to build their own authenticity. So I'll go more into authenticity and kind of what that means later on. It also means stepping out of the box, stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new things, and being willing to take new risks. Making yourself vulnerable, be willing to fail and learn from it. Failure can be painful and embarrassing and all those things, and it can be frustrating, but what happens after that failure makes all the difference. Be generous and kind towards those in your tribe. What I mean by tribe is your team, your group, your friends, whoever's there with you and working with you, maybe helping you. Be kind and be generous towards those. And finally, patience. Allow yourself enough time to reach potential goals and to grow into yourself. You can be a leader anywhere, anytime, anyhow. So, where and how can you be one? You could be a leader at school, have a positive influence on your peers, take a responsible role in a school club or a committee, maybe even become a candidate for a school office, help others achieve their goals. You can be a leader in your extracurricular activities, lead youth groups, help the community through volunteering, assist charities by fundraising. Be a leader in your family, build better relationships with siblings and parents, help with responsibilities, help plan family activities, and be a positive role model. You could even pick up an after school job and say, if you did have one, gain the trust of your supervisors or your bosses, have better communication with your coworkers, earn promotions. All of these things can benefit you and will definitely transfer over to career skills in your future. Why is leadership important? There's lots of reasons why it's important. The first being that it can teach you so much about life and certain skills that'll benefit your future. After this presentation, you'll definitely have a better idea of why it's important and how you can develop it. Followership. This is always an interesting topic. Followership is the flip side of leadership. It stands to reason that if leadership's important to performance, followership must have something to do with it too. Followership's a straightforward concept. It's the ability to take direction well, to get in line behind a program, to be part of a team, or to deliver on what's expected of you. The simple truth is, before you can be a leader, you need to be a follower. Chances are there's probably already somebody that you look up to and aspire to be similar to. Followership means that you can learn from that leader. You can learn how to follow someone and learn the characteristics and qualities that they possess that makes them great. Being able to follow gives you the necessary tools to be a great leader. So now that we've established kind of what leadership is, let's talk about leadership development. Leadership development's any activity that enhances the quality of leadership within a team or an organization. So today I'm kind of going to be talking to you a lot about sports. These little cartoons I have here, the top one says, the most important thing you can do as a leader is to motivate people to do good work. And the other guy says, oh, no problem. And then he shouts, do good work at the office. And then comes back and says, okay, what's the next most important? Obviously not a great leadership skill. Yelling at your employees to do good work is probably not going to sink in and probably not going to motivate them. Those other couple cartoons are similar, just funny little blurbs about kind of the opposite of leadership development. So how do you develop? Being a leader doesn't just happen. It's something you have to decide that you want, and then you have to just do it. As we talked about before, leaders develop through learning different qualities and characteristics like patience, listening, dedication, and more. There's lots of them. These things are things that you can learn from the leaders you see all around you and also from being a follower, like I talked about before. Leadership development in sports. I told you I was kind of going to focus a lot on sports throughout this presentation, and why? Why sports? I chose to focus on sports because many of you already play a sport or have watched sports. some of you have probably had some kind of exposure to sports. And it's an excellent way to practice leadership development. Leadership in sports can teach you so many different life lessons, like the qualities and characteristics we discussed already. Sports requires you to adjust and adapt to different situations, whether it's during a game or a match or practice or in a pool or wherever you are. No matter where you are or what you're doing, you're constantly learning during sports. You're constantly adapting and adjusting. Becoming a leader for your team means first following your coach, following your leader, understanding the goals for your team, and understanding who you want to be for your teammates. It requires you to become a role model and an inspiration for your teammates on and off the court. Yes, off the court as well. Coaches also have to learn what it means to be a leader. Many coaches go through, some kind of training in order to learn how to do this and how to be a positive leader for their team. You can learn a great deal whether you have a good or a bad coach. Obviously, a great coach will teach you those lessons in a positive and constructive way. However, there's always the possibility that you end up with a not so great coach. You can learn from their mistakes and learn who you don't want to be through their bad coaching. This video I have here is a professional basketball player. You will probably instantly know who it is once you watch the video. And we will talk about it once you watch it.
Now let's go have some fun, man. Protect home court. Hey, when you think you gave everything that you got, you gotta give more. It's that simple. You gotta give more, man.
We've watched you become a leader from your days in Cleveland to now. What has changed?
You know what? I think it's come from me wanting more out of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I can say it's me maturing, but it's just me maturing. Everyone's not a leader, and we shouldn't expect everyone to be a leader.
I think it becomes
something that you want to do or you're born with it.
And some people lead by example, some people lead by voice, some people lead by both. And for me, I felt in order for myself to be as good as I wanted to be, and at the same time, in order for our team to be as good as I wanted it to be, I had to be both.
As well as we play last game, it ain't gonna be enough to win tonight. You gotta give more, dog. You gotta protect more. You gotta help more. You gotta sacrifice more in order to get this win.
You have a lot of different styles. Let's throw out some of them. You like wise teachers sometimes. Tell me about that. I got
so many different forms of leadership,
and it just comes from my personality.
You know, at times I can be silly. These beautiful boys got me looking like Iron Man.
And at times I can be serious.
If you know personally, you know teammates, you throw it up to the rim.
That's like you throwing that same pass to Shaq.
You want to throw that pass to Shaq.
At times I can be like a teacher, like focusing in on all my students. At times I can be the student. You know, and to be able to have different forms of leadership has helped me because you have different personalities in the locker room. Everybody is not the same. The way I talk to D-Wade
may not be the way I can talk to Chris. The way I talk to Chris may not be the
way I talk to UD or to Bird or to Real. Everyone's personality is different. So my leadership skills has different phases because I understand what I'm doing.
I love you. Whoever misses down. Whoever misses down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sometimes you know the smile is leadership. Sometimes the playful is wrong. Sometimes you use that as a form of leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. I got that from being around my childhood friends.
We used to have so much fun, man. But we understood when that ball was tipped, we're going to have the most fun here. And I just brought that with me to the NBA. When you're doing something that way and it's working and you're winning and you're not disrespecting the game, this is what you feel like is how it's supposed to be done. It's giving me a sense of brotherhood in this league that is hard to come by.
So as you can see from that video, it's pretty clear why LeBron's a leader. And the reason I wanted to show you this clip from LeBron is because not only has he developed himself into a leader on his team, whether he's on the Heat or whichever team, Cleveland, whatever team he's on, he instantly becomes a leader. He's also become a leader in the NBA. He's become a leader off the court, and he's recognized all over the country as a top athlete who many people look up to and aspire to be like. A lot of young athletes look up to him for leadership and just who he is as an all-around person as well as an athlete. I want to point out in the beginning of the clip when LeBron talked about not everyone being a leader, you either decide you want to be one or you're just born with it. LeBron knows that with his talent and his mindset, he can influence others. He can help his teammates achieve greatness by having a positive, go-get-'em attitude. LeBron's authentic. He's absolutely himself. He knows when he can be silly at times, and he knows the difference of when it's okay and when it's not. Throughout his interview, talking about adaptability and his leadership in phases, as I previously talked about. He knows when it's time to be a role model and a leader, and he knows when it's time to be a teammate and a friend. He also shows his teammates respect. He knows that they've worked just as hard to get where they are, and they deserve to play as well. They deserve their spot on the team. Most important, LeBron inspires that greatness in his teammates. He knows that as a unit, they have one collective goal. He wants the team to work hard, to try hard, and to play hard. And whatever the outcome may be, at least they tried and they did it together. I wanted to share with you a little bit of my own personal story. No, I'm nowhere near Mr. LeBron James. However, I did start playing basketball when I was 10 years old, and it taught me more about life than any other experience I've been through. Once I realized that basketball was my passion, I quit every other extracurricular I was involved in, and that meant that I was invested. I was ready to improve my skills, and I was serious about being a great player. And kind of from then on, I promised myself that I would play college ball, which also meant that that would require some serious dedication off the court as well. My parents required me to maintain a certain GPA while still training hard for basketball, and that taught me time management. It taught me to value my priorities, and eventually it earned me the National Scholar Athlete Award in high school. As a freshman in high school, I made the varsity basketball team. I was incredibly intimidated to be playing with the older and tougher girls, but it made me realize that I wanted to lead that team. If I worked hard enough to be on the team, then eventually I would lead it. And I knew I'd have to earn my right to do so. So I followed in the footsteps of the players older than me, and I learned from their mistakes and their improvements. And from sophomore year on, until I finished high school, I was the varsity captain for our girls' basketball team. And following that, I did go on to play college ball and became the captain of my team in college as well. Basketball has impacted my life in so many ways. So much of what I learned from basketball I still carry with me today. Those necessary qualities like patience and dedication and adaptability and persistence and vulnerability, all of those things and more that I learned and practiced through basketball, I've also needed in my work. And the picture that I have there is a picture of the newspaper that was printed after one of our games in high school. I have some more of my college pictures that I didn't want to include on here, but this picture I included because it was kind of that moment when I realized, how much I love the game and how serious I got. So yeah. How did leadership development in sports help me? I kind of talked about this a little bit, but development through sports was frustrating, and sometimes I was impatient, and sometimes I wanted to throw my hands up and quit. But as I've already said, sticking with sports and learning from it taught me lessons that I'll always carry with me and that I'll pass on to those around me. I learned leadership through my experiences with sports, and I learned how to lead a team from those around me and my teammates and my coach and those leaders who inspired me to be better. It definitely prepared me for the real world, and it definitely taught me how to keep going. That saying, get knocked down 7 times, get back up 8. It taught me to keep trying, to stay motivated. Even though I've spent, all this time talking about sports, you can be a leader in so many different areas: business, performing arts, high risk occupations, anything. Um, you don't have to be the boss or be the best. It's just being a good person and having those qualities that inspire those around you. Be a citizen leader. If you don't do any of those things, just be a role model for people around you, just in general, outside of work or outside of sports or anything. Um, and I enjoyed this quote: before you're a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. So you can kind of see the difference, learning, who you are, who you want to be, where you want to go, and then being able to inspire those around you to do the same and grow together. In all, what can we take from this? Leadership development is applicable in many aspects of life. You can be a leader everywhere. It's going to teach you a lot of different lessons that you'll probably use for the rest of your life. And being able to understand and apply those lessons to your life journey and pass them on to those around you, whether it's your own family, your teammates, or work, etc. And just to recap on some qualities involved in leadership development: being able to make decisions, being faced with challenges, being able to work on a team, being creative, being motivated, being ambitious, having a vision, and using strategy to get you where you want to go, as well as your teammates or coworkers or whoever it might be. And remember the difference between a boss and a leader. A boss says go, and a leader says let's go. I've enjoyed this talk today, and thanks for listening.